$200,000 a year. That's what the best structural ironworkers take home in New York City. Full benefits, pension, annuity. All of it negotiated with the understanding that you might not come home tonight. The fatality rate is 6 times the national average. Falls, swinging beams, crushed hands. Ironworkers call themselves the Marines of the building trades. They're not exaggerating. This is every level of a skyscraper ironworker's career, from broom to beam. If you like breakdowns of how careers actually progress, like and subscribe. That's what this channel is all about. Level 1. The Apprentice. You're 19, maybe 22. Your starting wage is $21 an hour, 60% of the Journeyman scale. The program runs 4 years, 6,000 hours on the job, 500 hours in the classroom. You'll learn welding, rigging, blueprint reading, and crane signals. By graduation, you'll hold 15 certifications. Right now, you hold a broom. Your first week is humbling. You're sent to find the board stretcher, the left-handed wrench, the skyhook. The journeymen laugh. You laugh too. Eventually. Then they hand you a 40-pound tool belt and tell you to climb. The physical entrance test alone washes people out. Climb a 35-foot column in 40 seconds. Walk a 5.5-inch beam 20 feet while pulling a 75-pound bucket. Carry a 45-pound tool upstairs 3 times in 90 seconds. This is just to get in. The spud wrench, an ironworker's most important tool. Wrench on one end, alignment spike on the other. By month, 6-year pay bumps to 65% of scale. By year 2, you're earning 75%. Every 6 months, the percentage climbs. But the real education isn't in the classroom. It's watching the connector catch a 4-ton beam out of the air and drive 2 bolts before the crane releases. Year 4. You graduate with 15 welding certifications, an OSHA 30 card, and rigger credentials. You're a journeyman now. Your AWS welding certs expire if you don't use them within 6 months. You keep a continuity log signed by your supervisor. Miss one signature and you're retesting. The trade doesn't hand you credentials, it loans them. Level 2. The Journeyman. Full scale. In New York, that's $57.20 an hour. In Chicago, it's $59.26. The total package in New York, wages plus fringes, hits $147 an hour. Your day starts at 7 a.m. with a safety briefing from the foreman. Crews split into gangs. The raising gang builds the skeleton. The bolt-up gang torques every connection behind them. The plumb gang makes sure the building stands straight. The decking gang lays the floors. The raising gang is a 5-person crew. 2 hook-on workers rig the steel below, 2 connectors catch it at the top, and 1 foreman reads the drawings and talks to the crane operator. The connectors are the trade's elite. Lunch is at noon, 800 feet up, legs over the edge. You eat your sandwich and watch the city move. Your tool belt weighs 35 to 40 pounds before you add bolts, spud wrench, sleever bar, bull pins, a beater hammer clipped to a carabiner, 2 bolt bags, tape measure, soapstone. On top of that, a full-body harness with dual lanyards rated for 5,000 pounds of arrest force. A good day for the raising gang is 100 pieces of steel. They call it hang-in and bang-in. A skyscraper rises 1 floor every 4 days during peak erection. You're building a floor every week that took an architect a month to design. Wind is the enemy. OSHA shuts crane operations at 30 miles per hour. But wind at the top of an unfinished tower can be double what it is on the street. You learn to read the gusts by watching the crane cable. If the load starts swinging, everyone freezes. Working at 800 feet changes your perception. Veterans say it gets easier the higher you go. You stop seeing the ground. You see only what is in front of you, the beam, the bolt, the next connection. The fear doesn't disappear. You just learn to work inside it. Overtime is where the real money lives. Time and a half after 8 hours. Double time on Sundays. A Chicago journeyman working 50-hour weeks grosses $170,000 a year in cash, plus $47,000 in benefits the employer pays on top. That's $217,000 total. Some ironworkers boom. They travel the country chasing jobs, $700 a week in tax-free per diem on top of wages. They call them boomers. The hiring hall controls your life between jobs. You sign the out-of-work list. When a contractor calls the hall, names go out by group. Group A first, local journeyman with recent employer history. Then B, C, D. If you're Group A with a good reputation, you work steady. If you're not, you sit. Level 3, the foreman. The premium is $3.50 an hour, about 6% above journeyman scale. The money barely changes. Everything else does. There's no test to become a foreman, no certification, no application. A superintendent taps you because he trusts your blueprint reading, your crew management, and your ability to keep people alive. 5+ years as a journeyman and an OSHA 30 card. That's the minimum. You supervise 4 to 12 ironworkers. You read drawings. You assign daily tasks. You run the morning safety briefing. You coordinate with the crane operator for every single lift. And you're the one who answers when something goes wrong. The role is project-based. That's the part nobody tells you. You're foreman on this job, running 10 ironworkers on a 40-story tower. The job ends. The next contractor doesn't need a foreman. You're back to journeyman scale. Back to the hiring hall. Here's the number that follows every ironworker. 21.3 deaths per 100,000 workers. 6 times the national average. Falls are the killer, 10 times the construction average for fall deaths. In 1912, the union recorded 109 deaths among 10,928 members, 1% of the entire membership, dead, in a single year. Before 2001, fall protection was basically voluntary. Ironworkers hated being tied off. They said lanyards made them less agile, harder to dodge a swinging beam. The new standard changed the rule to mandatory at 15 feet. Connectors got an exception up to 30 feet. The resistance was real. Workers fought it until the alternative was getting fired. The ironworker motto of that era was simple: "We do not die, we are killed." The Mohawk ironworkers of Kanawake changed everything. In 1886, they helped build a bridge over the St. Lawrence River. Supervisors saw men walking steel like they were born on it. By 1920, they were building Manhattan's skyline. Empire State Building, Chrysler Building, Rockefeller Center, the original World Trade Center. August 29, 1907, the Quebec Bridge collapsed. 75 dead, 33 of them Mohawk from Kanawake. They buried them under crosses made of steel beams. Level 4, the General Foreman. $64.76 an hour in Chicago, a $5.50 premium over journeyman. You oversee every foreman on the site. You're managing 20+ ironworkers now. The raising gang, bolt-up gang, decking gang, plumb gang, they all report through their foreman to you. You manage material flow. You sequence the steel. You make sure the right beam is on the right truck on the right morning. You interface directly with the project superintendent now. Not the ironwork super, the general contractor super, the person who runs the entire building. You sit in project meetings with architects and engineers. You translate their drawings into lift sequences. The physical toll is catching up. You're in your late 30s or early 40s. Your knees ache every morning. Your shoulders grind. The union's own records say many ironworkers get hip and knee replacements earlier than normal. Over a 45-year career, there's a 75% chance of a disabling injury. Construction workers die of drug overdoses at 3 times the national rate. 73% of injured ironworkers in one study were prescribed opioid painkillers. 15% became long-term users. Level 5. The Superintendent. $150,000 to $200,000 a year, salaried, project bonuses on top. You've crossed the line from union hourly worker to company employee. You manage the entire ironwork operation on the project. Maybe multiple projects. Manpower planning, equipment, material. It all runs through you. You attend owners' meetings where a single delay costs the general contractor $50,000 a day in liquidated damages. The career path at a major firm runs ironworker to general foreman to field superintendent to general superintendent to senior director. One documented path at a national erector took 22 years. You don't climb this ladder with a wrench anymore, you climb it with a spreadsheet. The most symbolic ironwork project of the 21st century was One World Trade Center. Nearly 50,000 tons of steel. The tower pioneered steel-first erection, raising the frame before the concrete core. Mohawk ironworkers from Mohawk returned for the rebuild. Their fathers and grandfathers had built the original towers. Level 6. The owner. Starting capital for a small two-crew operation runs $100,000 to $500,000. Mid-size with your own equipment fleet, $1 to $5 million. You need a contractor license. Surety bonds, $10,000 to $50,000 for the license bond alone. Performance bonds size to every contract. General liability insurance. And if you want the big jobs, AISC certification for your fabrication shop. Small contractors pull $1 to $10 million in annual revenue. The largest firms exceed $400 million. The #1 steel erector in the country has held that rank since 2007, roughly $465 million in steel erection revenue. They built the campus for the world's most valuable technology company. The biggest firms in the trade are names most people have never heard, but they shape every city skyline. The #2 fabricator and erector, founded in 1909, put up the 68-story tower at Hudson Yards. 110,000 tons of steel from suppliers around the world. You sign the payroll now. You carry the bond. When the crane drops a beam and someone gets hurt, your name is on the insurance claim. Every ironworker who works for you started where you started. Broom in hand, 40-pound belt, looking up. The last beam, when the final structural beam is set, they paint it white. Workers sign it, architects sign it. The owner signs it, they lash a small evergreen tree to one end and an American flag to the other. Then the crane lifts it to the top. The tree means one thing: nobody died during steel erection. The tradition is over 1,000 years old. Scandinavian builders placed trees atop new structures to appease forest spirits. Norwegian ironworkers brought it to America in 1898. Every topping out ceremony since carries the same prayer. The tree goes up. Everyone goes home. You'll point to buildings the way veterans point to medals. The skyline is your resume. But the average ironworker's body gives out by 55. The knees. The back. The shoulders. You built something permanent with a body that isn't. 20,000 apprentices are in training right now. The infrastructure bill just injected $864 billion into the pipeline. There's more steel going up than any time since the 1970s. And someone still has to catch the iron.